With San Francisco losing yet another defensive end, this time their first round selection in Mykel Williams for the remainder of the season with a torn ACL, they'll have to turn to their newly acquired defensive end from the Patriots in Keion White. He offers similar versatility to Williams as he comes in at 6'5", weighing 285 pounds. In other words, he has the size to set a strong edge in the running game, then on third down, he has the ability to transfer over to a defensive tackle position in Robert Saleh's NASCAR packages and truly get after the quarterback. So in this video, we're going to go over his season debut as a 49er against the Giants to examine what he does well as what he struggles with so we can fully understand the player San Francisco is getting for the remainder of the season. Initially, to start out, we will be looking at White's pass rush because not only does San Francisco need the most help here, but he was also dominant throughout this Giants game. This was especially the case when he was lined up as a defensive tackle, as he was able to use his relative athleticism score of 9.91 to really beat up on less athletic guards and centers. To really illustrate this point, here on this play, he's lined up as a defensive tackle, slanting across this offensive line, and on the back half, Robert Saleh is sending the blitz with D. Winters and Upton Stout. Rather than just directly slanting in front of this guard's face though, White uses his athleticism to beat him. He first takes a hard jab to the outside, and then once he sees him commit, he's able to use his lateral quickness to work his way into a hand swipe, into a rip move, and continues to get lateral across this offensive line and finds a tiny hole he's able to explode through. There's not many big guys that can move like this, and that's a big reason why the Patriots drafted him in the second round only a few years back, and now he's entering a perfect system that will be able to take advantage of this athleticism and size. Already, for instance, Robert Saleh has run a ton of stunts with White, which not only has taken advantage of his athleticism like I was speaking about because it gets him moving laterally, it also takes advantage of his size and length. To start to illustrate this point, here on this play, White is running a stunt with Mykel Williams, with White slanting to the outside and Williams looping over the top. So initially on this play, White once again shows off his athleticism, slanting in front of this guard's face, using a hand swipe into rip. Then he shows off his size and length, blocking Mykel Williams' man and creating a clear rush lane for him. To further highlight just how effective he can be on these stunts and why it's great Chris Kasarik and Robert Saleh understand this, here on this play, he's slanting to the inside with Alfred Collins looping over the top on a stunt. And like we've seen throughout this video, he just has too much athleticism for this guard to handle, so almost immediately he's slanting across this offensive line, and then he's punching this center almost like you would see a tackle punch an edge piece, which really shows when put in the proper situation, White has the ability to use his length and size to his advantage like on this play. The same can be said about White's athleticism. If a coach knows how to use it, it can be deadly. And here on this play, Robert Saleh is trying to use his athleticism by looping him over the top on this stunt with Samuel Okuanu. And I love how first he gets his guard's momentum going one direction because he knows he can come back easily the other way on the loop, and he does just that, but he doesn't stop there, as once he sees his back release, he blows him up to help out the back half of his defense and take away Dart's check down. And with Dart taking off here, he has the ability to chase down this play from the backside because he is such an athletic defensive tackle or defensive end. It's also worth noting, because he does have such great hustle, he'll routinely chase down these plays like he did right here. Throughout his entire career, he's never really given up on plays. With that being said, he hasn't been the most refined pass rusher, but against the Giants, he showed off a lot of moves and interesting ways to deploy them. To highlight this, we'll be examining his spin move. On this play, going against 71, he'll be attacking his outside shoulder, and as soon as he gets him to commit there, he uses 71's momentum going up the field to his advantage, coming back hard on this spin, and he nearly puts the pressure on Dart on this play. While this spin move by White is pretty effective by itself, what really impressed me about White throughout this game is how he built it into a pass rush plan. Here on this play, for example, with White as a defensive tackle, he starts to attack 76 with the rip move, gets underneath his pads, and starts driving him up the field. Sensing this, he stops on a dime and spins back across his face, once again nearly getting the hit on Dart right here. And more importantly for San Francisco's defense, showcasing his development as a pass rush specialist. To further showcase this development here on this play, he's lined up as a defensive end. And like we saw last play, he shows off a sophisticated pass rush. He's not just overly reliant on one move, and once one fails, he seamlessly moves into the next. To start this play, for instance, he's attacking this tackle's outside shoulder to get his momentum moving up the field, so he's able to come back hard on the hand swipe, and it's pretty effective, but he notices his guard waiting there to pick him up. So rather than committing there, he transitions into that spin move we've seen throughout this video and works his way into the backfield. In a similar way on this play, lined up as a defensive end, he's attacking this tackle's outside shoulder, but rather than coming back hard on a hand swipe, with him seeing this tackle's base narrow, he transitions into a bull rush. And he has great technique on this play. You can see how he's able to use his length to punch his tackle, but he doesn't stop there, as he also comes back with his other hand to disengage from this tackle's hand and start to walk him right into Jackson Dart's lap. Outside of getting to the quarterback, White will also be expected to set a strong edge against the run, and throughout this Giants game, he did a pretty solid job here. On this play, for instance, with the run coming right his direction, he's able to reset the line of scrimmage, read where this back is cutting, fight across his tackle's face, and get the tackle on this back for only a 2-yard gain. Even with all these positives to White's game, there are some areas of concern, with one of the most notable in my opinion just being his tendency to stand up throughout the rep, meaning shorter offensive linemen can get inside his chest and drive him outside of the play. This is especially the case when he doesn't use his length to his advantage, which is also an area of concern. On top of that, he needs to continue to refine his pass rush and play recognition, but overall, I think in Robert Saleh and Chris Kaceric's defensive line, he's probably going to have the best year of his career. Is it going to come this year or next year? I'm not sure, but it's going to come either one of these years. He already looks pretty dominant. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts on Keion White, San Francisco's newly acquired defensive end from the Patriots, a former second-round pick who seems to be in line to get a lot more playing opportunities headed forward, with Mykel Williams slated to miss the rest of the season with the torn ACL. And now, I want to hear your thoughts about Keion White as a player. Do you think he'll be successful for Robert Saleh's defense over the next 2 years, or do you think he'll struggle like he did with the Patriots? Personally, I think he's going to break out in a major way and show why he was a former second-round pick. But let me know why I'm either right or wrong down below, and it would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe, it truly helps out the channel a ton, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.